Well, the 60-day memorandum of understanding is in its final hours now, and a deal between the U.S. and Iran has yet to be reached. Chief Foreign Correspondent Trey Yingst has more live from Tel Aviv. Trey.
Yeah, hey, John, good afternoon. Monday will mark 60 days since the United States and Iran signed the Memorandum of Understanding, and technically it is set to expire. Reports indicate very little diplomatic progress to reach an agreement to reopen the Strait of Hormuz and address Iran's nuclear ambitions. We do know this weekend Iran continued attacks on vessels around the Strait. On Saturday, a bulk carrier reported being hit by an unknown projectile. A day prior, an Emirati oil vessel was also targeted. President Trump spoke on Friday about the conflict with Iran and the Strait of Hormuz.
We're capable of really destroying the whole place. We don't want to do that. We have got economic sanctions against them like nobody's ever had before. We own, in the true sense, we own the Hormuz Strait. If they hit, we would hit back 100 times harder.
With a focus on Iran, we're also tracking the latest developments between Israel and Iran-backed Hezbollah in Lebanon. Hezbollah violated the ceasefire over the weekend, wounding 3 Israeli soldiers. This prompted Israel to launch a new round of strikes against targets in southern Lebanon.
Hezbollah committed 2 major violations today. They struck Israeli troops who were operating in the security zone in contravention of the ceasefire agreement. And then when Israel responded, they moved civilians inside their terrorist headquarters. They used their own civilians as human shields so that later on they could point at Israel and say that Israel is targeting civilians, which we are not doing.
Overnight, the Israelis warned residents of northern Israel to be prepared for loud explosions along the border as they continue to operate against Hezbollah. John?
All right, Trey Yingst reporting live from Tel Aviv. Thank you, Trey. Let's bring in Mike Sarraille, a retired Navy SEAL officer. All right, so Mike, we've been talking about the fact that this memorandum of understanding is about to expire. Doesn't appear there's any new movement toward a replacement peace deal of any kind. So where do we go from here?
Well, John, good to join you on Sunday. I think this is more of a diplomatic deadline than it is a strategic deadline. Let's be honest, this ceasefire was badly damaged, if not clinically dead. We're stuck between this intermittent combat and economic warfare to the point at this juncture, it's inconsequential. I think we're looking at time, and the administration has to be prepared to take this well beyond the November 3rd midterm election cycles, which will be damaging to them with independent voters. But time has been a weapon that Iran has always used. It's increasingly becoming a weapon for the U.S. and the global community. I mean, Iran's economic posture is damaged by the day, more so. So at this point, I would stick with a military, economic, diplomatic alignment campaign that is governed by conditions and outcomes, not inconsequential dates or election calendars.
As you've been speaking, we've been watching live as the president boards Air Force One in Morristown, New Jersey. He's been spending the weekend in Bedminster at his golf club there, and he's about to head back to Washington, D.C. He's raised a few hackles by suggesting that the United States might make the Strait of Hormuz a U.S. territory. Is that practical? Is it possible, Mike?
Possible, no. I don't think the Strait of Hormuz requires an American flag. It requires international enforcement for freedom of navigation. This is Trumpian theater and less a legal proposition. We just cannot annex a strait by proclamation. So it's just playing into his negotiations, and I think ultimately telling Iran that we will go the distance with the blockade and any security to secure the maritime traffic that's impacting the global energy community.
Well, at the same time, Iran is under that blockade that has apparently turned away at least 62 ships. It's hard to think how they are, continuing to thumb their nose at the United States when there's not much of any kind of commerce getting across their borders and into their ports.
Well, there's 2 sides to that sword. One, it's damaging Iran badly, but at the same time, maritime traffic through the straits is not even close to where it was pre-war. So it's impacting both sides. And at the end of the day, Iran may be damaged. They're not dead. And it doesn't require much to disrupt the Strait of Hormuz. So all eyes are on the Strait of Hormuz, and that's what's going to be the focus in any negotiations with Iran at this point.
Here is the president saying that he might consider making the Strait a U.S. territory. Listen.
After we finish defeating Iran, which is being very badly defeated, pretty soon I'll be declaring the Hormuz Strait a territory of the United States. Essentially, that's what we have the blockade. No ships get through unless we want them to.
You're suggesting that's more about theatrics than actual policy.
It's galvanizing his base. And what better base when you're speaking to a bunch of first responders from New York that wildly support President Trump. You know, he's got Iran where he wants them with both the blockade, the economic sanctions. Again, it just comes down to time. These are crippling to Iran. You pair it with probably some additional military strikes on their infrastructure. But additionally, what the commentators are missing is diplomatically, you know, we are seeing an aligned Middle East that we have not seen in for at least our lifetimes. You know, with a recent pact between Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and Pakistan, an attack on one is attack on all, and then also a Red Sea maritime coalition that was signed by 14 Gulf states. So that alignment is ultimately going to be the biggest strategic miscalculation by Iran. They've aligned the entire region against them. They are further isolated. Again, we just have to give President Trump time to lay the seeds for what could be the end of days for this regime.
Turn our attention to another topic. Your former service, the Navy, is generating a lot of headlines, most of them not good this week, because of reports that sailors on board the USS Lincoln, the aircraft carrier, are in, terrible straits, suicides, bad food, etc. Those are the allegations. Because the ship has been on duty in the Persian Gulf area for 260 days, much longer than a normal deployment. I want to get your thoughts on that first, and then we'll play some sound.
Yeah, we're always concerned about fatigue. And when you're sitting on a ship, every day becomes a little more monotonous. But what I want to be cautious is that we're not extrapolating maybe a handful or a few dozen sailors that speak for the other 5,000 Marines and sailors who are executing their duties to the highest fashion every single day. So while it is worthy of an investigation and taking a further look, we've got to remind these sailors too that it is our job. John, I had 10 combat deployments ranging from 4 months to about 8 months. Army sometimes did 15 months during the height of the Iraq or Afghanistan war. This is doable. And what it comes down to is leadership on these ships to keep their people determined, steadfastly loyal to the mission, and focused to get the job done.
One of the criticisms is that we need more aircraft carriers rather than the 11 carrier groups we have. We should have 15, but it takes a long time to build an aircraft carrier. So those numbers are going to stay the same for a while. Mike Sarraille. Mike, thank you.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.